In the near future, 8 gamers unexpectedly receive mysterious invitations to participate in a groundbreaking game called The Call Up, with the promise of a grand prize of $1 million. Carl is one of the players. He lives alone, still haunted by the loss of his mother, who died in a tragic accident. That morning, eager to accept the mysterious invitation, he hurries through the bustling streets of New York, boards the subway, and finally arrives at his destination, a towering, 50-story skyscraper that looms imposingly before him. Once everyone has arrived, a robotic voice instructs them to log in using a tablet. Next, they are told to store all their clothes and personal belongings in nearby lockers and to change into the provided motion capture suits. As they prepare, some brief interactions unfold. Adam, who struggles to fit into the snug suit, is lightly teased for his size. Carl's suit reveals a large burn scar, sparking curiosity, and Andre casually mentions his background as a soldier. Carl, impressed by the tattoos of the woman in front of him, starts flirting. Once dressed, the group is directed to a room equipped with a futuristic scanner. The voice tells them to step on the scanner and say their usernames, then they can pick up their new equipment. Among the items is an advanced VR suit featuring a helmet designed to deliver a fully immersive experience. The players suit up quickly, except for Zahid, a Bosnian Muslim. He had picked the nickname terrorist as a joke, unaware it would display on his suit. Embarrassed, he tries to leave, but the door won't open, and no one responds when he calls for help. The others persuade him it's not a big deal. Reluctantly, Zahid agrees to stay. The robotic voice suddenly announces the start of the training module.
My tattoos are gone.
The players lower their helmets, and the simulation kicks in. Instantly, the room changes. The walls turn into a hyper-realistic post-apocalyptic landscape. Their sleek suits are replaced with military uniforms, and even their tattoos vanish. But when they touch objects, their hands pass right through them. At that moment, the sergeant appears. He barks orders, treating them like raw recruits. They soon realize they can't touch him either. Raising their visors confirms he's just an incredibly lifelike NPC. Following the sergeant, the group moves to the next area, where they find weapons. In reality, the guns are just props. Still, the simulation makes them feel weighty and real. The sergeant orders them to shoot bottles for practice. The players are surprised by the realistic recoil and sound effects. The sergeant unexpectedly shoots to players. Their vests vanish, though they quickly regenerate since it's just a tutorial. The sergeant explains the rules. If they lose their vest during combat, they'll be left vulnerable. Once injured, they can use a serum to heal, but they only have 1 dose each. Venner briefs them on their mission. The building has been overrun by hostile terrorists, and their objective is to clear the enemies and make it to the ground floor. Whoever survives will win the cash prize in real life. As the sergeant vanishes, Andre takes charge. He shares tips on how to stay quiet and avoid detection. They explore several rooms before spotting an enemy in the hallway, who immediately opens fire. But Andre reacts quickly and takes him down. Curious, they touch the body and confirm it's just another NPC. The voice announces they've completed level 25, awarding all points to Andre. Reaching the stairs, they discover a mechanism designed to electrocute anyone trying to leave before completing the level. Forced to keep going, they enter level 24, where they find advanced weapons. Andre explains how to use them. Moving into the main room, Marco confidently takes out the first enemy. Encouraged, the others start moving faster, using random objects. As cover while shooting down terrorists, Adam burns through all his ammo without hitting a single target. When Andre steps in to finish the job, he gets shot and loses his vest. Meanwhile, Taylor freezes, overwhelmed by panic. She confesses she wasn't invited, her friend was, but she came instead. Shelly tries to reassure her, reminding her it's just a game, but when Shelly faces an enemy, she also hesitates. As the terrorist closes in on them, Carl shoots him, but is hit in return, losing his vest too. The enemy shoots him again, causing a lethal wound. Shelly rushes in and kills the attacker. Both she and Carl lift their helmets, but Carl feels unbearable pain even in real life. Back in the game, Andre injects Carl with the serum, instantly healing him. Still shaken, Carl removes his helmet to vomit, convinced this isn't just a game. Everyone takes a break and lifts their visors. While Adam scavenges for more weapons, Carl speculates they might be part of a reality TV show. Zahid panics and tries to remove his suit but fails. Marco wonders if it's a military experiment and accuses Andre of being an insider. The argument heats up. Andre steps away to cool off in the bathroom, but the others don't notice that the terrorists they killed are now respawning and the game is still running. One of them corners Andre in the bathroom and he only gets to close his helmet before he gets shot down. Andre wants to heal himself, but realizes he already used the serum on Carl earlier. Suddenly, noises alert the others, and they close their helmets just as Edward gets shot down immediately. The group scrambles for cover. Taylor tried to escape, using the stairs but is blocked since the level's unfinished. The terrorists open fire, and the team defends themselves as best as they can. Edward uses a serum to heal while Andre drags his bleeding body through the corridor, struggling. Adam throws a grenade, killing the remaining enemies and completing the level, earning him the highest score. The gunfire finally stops, and the team hears Andre weakly calling for help nearby. At that moment, Andre opens his helmet, hearing a timer before being electrocuted, causing violent convulsions. By the time the others find him, Andre has already died. Shelly tries CPR, but nothing works. The voice instructs them to proceed to the next level, but the group is too shocked to continue. They notice blood on the ground, realizing the helmet killed Andre, and try removing theirs, but it's impossible. Zahid panics and grabs a fire extinguisher, asking for help with a test to remove the helmet. Carl volunteers, hitting Zahid with the extinguisher several times, but the helmet stays stuck on his head. Suddenly, the sergeant appears, walking through Carl and kicking Zahid several times for breaking the rules. The sergeant warns them about punishments for not playing, leaving the group with no choice but to continue. They move through several levels, learning to handle new weapons and adapt to evolving game mechanics. In one room with a gas leak, they can't use fire-based weapons and must fight with knives. Killing enemies face-to-face worsens Taylor's anxiety, and Shelly promises to get her out of there. As they progress, most team members lose their protective vests in various gunfights. During a particularly brutal fight, both Carl and Adam are shot down, and Shelly and Marco heal them with serums. Hours later, exhausted and frustrated, the group takes a break and realizes it's now nighttime in real life. Tired of being trapped in the game, they grab random objects and start hitting the windows in desperation. Zahid manages to crack the glass using a heavy cart, offering them a glimmer of hope. Suddenly, the sergeant reappears and unleashes a brutal attack on Zahid. Zahid tries to escape by heading toward the stairs, but the sergeant kicks him down, causing him to fall and break his leg before leaving. The sergeant warns that the next person who attempts to flee will be killed. The team rushes to help Zahid and realizes his injury is real, but doesn't affect his in-game character, making the serum useless, as the computer voice urges them to keep moving. Zahid insists they leave him behind. They reluctantly hide him behind some furniture, and shortly after they leave, Zahid succumbs to blood loss. On the next level, Marco gets into an argument with the others over the new weapons, distracting him long enough for a hidden enemy to shoot him from behind. As the team returns fire, Taylor runs off and hides in a bathroom stall. After a chaotic exchange of bullets, a grenade finishes off the remaining enemies. Shelly quickly uses her serum to heal Marco. Realizing Taylor is missing, they starts looking after her. Meanwhile, a terrorist enters the bathroom and begins checking the stalls. Just as he nears her, Shelly kicks open the door and takes him down with a knife. The level ends and Edward scores the most points, placing him at the top of the leaderboard. During a break, they discuss their pasts and realize none of them have families, which explains why they were likely chosen. No one would notice if they disappear. Moving on to the next level, they find the sergeant torturing a hostage. He warns them about a bomb in the basement set to explode unless they disarm it soon. The only way to get the code is from the hostage, who is hooked up to electric transmitters. Without hesitation, Edward shocks him relentlessly until the man screams out a word. Adam types it into the computer, but instead of stopping the bomb, it triggers a countdown and they only have 30 minutes left to disable it manually. As the sergeant walks away, the hostage starts laughing and an enraged Taylor shoots him dead. Marco furiously lashes out at Adam, blaming him for the disaster. Frustrated, he opens Adam's helmet and hits him in the face. Taylor steps in to intervene but gets caught in. Suddenly, the sergeant's voice echoes through the room, shouting that he's holding the elevator door open. The group scrambles inside, and the elevator descends before jerking to a sudden stop. The doors get jammed halfway, so Marco forces them open just enough for people to squeeze through. When Adam tries to exit, Marco blocks him out of spite, and both end up stuck inside. The elevator takes them down to the third floor before releasing them. As they move forward, They notice a crashed helicopter outside the window. Marco shoves Adam to the front, forcing him to lead the way. Adam manages to take down a terrorist, but runs out of ammo. Marco doesn't care and continues using Adam as a shield until Adam is shot and dies moments later. Marco, left alone and panicked, breaks down briefly but snaps back to reality when the voice announces the level is complete. Meanwhile, on the 4th floor, the rest of the team gathers weapons and explores the area. Suddenly, a terrorist tosses a smoke grenade, and Carl steps back in fear, struggling with a panic attack. Shelly rushes to check on him, and Carl tearfully admits that he lost his girlfriend in a fire that left him scarred. Smoke now triggers his trauma, but Shelly talks him down and encourages him to press on. The team fights through the remaining levels and reaches the 1st floor, barely holding on to any ammunition. While the others continue battling terrorists, Taylor searches the area and finds a serum injection. Marco suddenly sneaks up on her, demanding the serum. When Taylor refuses, he coldly shoots her, killing her instantly. He then runs, closing behind him to hide her body desperately. But he is stopped by Carl. Carl discovers her lifeless body. To his shock, he notices she has scrawled Marco's username in her own blood. Raged, Carl removes his helmet and attacks Marco, landing several kicks before trying to choke him. Marco pushes Carl into a wall, pins him down, and punches him relentlessly until they finally break apart. Carl retaliates by hitting Marco with a fire extinguisher, but Marco kicks him off. As Marco prepares to shoot Carl, the sergeant suddenly appears and beats him mercilessly. After a few punches, the sergeant grabs Marco by the neck and strangles him to death. With only 7 minutes left, the 3 remaining players rush toward the basement. The voice announces it's the final level. Grabbing new weapons, they sweep the floor, eliminating terrorists while inching toward the bomb. The constant waves of enemies slow them down until Carl throws a grenade, clearing the way. Just as they advance, a terrorist ambushes them from a van, shooting Carl. Shelly and Edward dive for cover while Carl searches frantically for his serum injection. Shelly hears the timer 2 minutes left and makes a desperate dash toward the bomb, only to be shot to. Carl crawls to her, injecting her with the serum instead of saving himself. He urges her to finish the mission before dying beside her. Meanwhile, Edward uses a bazooka to kill the last enemy and defuses the bomb with just a second remaining. Moments later, the sergeant congratulates them only for Edward to repeat the sergeant's speech, revealing he was the company's insider all along. The simulation ends, and men in black enter to sedate Shelly and clean up the building. The server erases all player data and shut down. In the morning, Shelly awakens in her regular clothes and sees Edward in a suit, helping dismantle the site. He hands her the prize money, but when she threatens to go to the police, he reminds her no one will believe her. When a man tries to sedate her, Shelly injects him instead, steals his gun, and shoots out the parking lot lights. Edward sends his men after her, but Shelly, now a seasoned fighter, kills them all as Edward tries to manipulate and begs for his life. Shelly shoots him without mercy, leaving the building and the prize money behind. With that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.